Welcome, everybody, to Backdoors and Breaches here live on Twitch. My name is Ian Meyer, and we have got a fun time today. If you were expecting Jason Blanchard and you're looking and saying that man is nowhere near as handsome, you're correct. Jason's much more handsome, but I'm here to host today, Ian Meyer, and we're going to go through and play a game of Backdoors and Breaches. The music you heard beforehand was our own Bo Bullock and No Bandwidth. Check out his albums and songs at nobandwidth.io. So, Backdoors and Breaches, we're going to play a card game. We have a great team of folks here, so thank you for joining us if you're on Twitch or LinkedIn or wherever you may be receiving your packets to be unencapsulated and turned into strobing pixels on your screen. With us, we have Sky, we have Bronwyn, we have Wade, Serena, and James. Wonderful. Thank you for being here. We have a couple that have not played, right? Who hasn't played? Hands up. I know there's a couple. Excellent. Wonderful. So we're going to go through some rules real quick and to understand. So if you're tuning in for the first time and you're saying, hey, I wanted to check this out because I'm real interested in how do I do something that can teach people just a little bit more about incident response, about information security, and do it in kind of a fun way, well, you're in the right place. Backdoors and Breaches was developed as a card game at Black Hills Information Security to help teach people about incident response. So, Ryan, if you could bring up my shared screen here. Perfect, thank you. If you search Google for Backdoors and Breaches, one of the first things you'll find is, one, a link to Bryson's company over there. So, hey, great, thanks for that. But you'll also find here the Black Hills Project and Tools page, Backdoors and Breaches here. If you go in here, you will get all kinds of information on how to play, what to do, all that good stuff. We're going to go through and just go through the rules real quick because there are a couple folks on here that haven't played. But if you're watching and you haven't played, fantastic details out here on the website, up to and including if you're someone who just likes to watch and see something entertaining, there's some video. Or if you just want the, give me what I got to do right now, you can go with the printable visual guide, which is what we're going to look at today. So if we could, Ryan, if you could bring back the rest of the team and we leave the screen up there and help me do that. Perfect. Wonderful. Hey, that is nice. Thank you. All right, I will actually zoom this in here. Oh, that looks good. Okay, perfect. So, this is the visual guide, and we're going to go through and just take a look at it. This is a pretty simple game at its core. Essentially, you have a bunch of procedures, and you have attackers, and they are trying, or have maybe successfully gotten into your environment. And there are 4 cards that myself, as the incident captain, has chosen. You'll see this listed as incident master and things like that. Do I sound kind of mumbled? Ryan, can you confirm? Do I sound kind of mumbled?
Yeah, your audio cut out there for a little bit.
Audio cut out. Okay, well, I'll get the mic closer. Thank you, Ryo, for letting me know. So there's 4 cards that you're going to need to discover. The initial compromise, how they got into the environment. You're going to need to discover how they stayed in the environment. That's your persistence. How did they stay in the environment? And then also how they pivot and escalate into the other parts of the environment. And then last, how they get data out, which is command and control, or C2, and exfil. Pretty straightforward, right? You have 10 turns to figure out these 4 items. And this whole guide will take you through that. So you have 10 turns to figure out those 4 items. You will use your procedure cards, which are exactly the kind of thing that you would have in a major organization. Things that you know how to do, tools you have access to, whatever it may be. And some of those procedures are documented procedures. You get 4 of those documented procedures that when you roll to determine if your procedure worked, you get a modifier, +3. Roll, you say? What do you mean roll? This is a card game. Well, guess what? It's got dice too. So whether you're virtual or you're there, oh, I love it. Everyone's got their Black Hills dice up. Excellent. So whether you're virtual or whether you are in person, you take a 1d20 and we say, yes, we are going to roll to check Zeke and Rita and Arsim or whatever it may be. If you roll a 1 through a 10, yeah, those logs didn't make it into the seam. Okay. And it didn't work. If you roll an 11 through a 20 on a 1d20, huzzah, it works. Everything's functioning as designed, and hopefully you find out something about the attack. Now, just because it works, just like in the real world, doesn't mean that it's going to discover one of these pieces. Also, just because you failed doesn't mean that that thing would have failed and not shown you anything. It could mean it just failed, right? Every time you use a procedure, it has a cooldown period. Maybe in the real world that cooldown period is, Bob's the only one who's really good with Splunk queries, and they're on vacation, or Sarah is fantastic at firewall review, and we just fell on our face. That kind of thing. So you have to wait for 3 turns to get there to use the card again, and then you can use it again. Last couple items I want to go over and get into gameplay here and actually play the game, because that's the best way to learn, is just to play the game and go through it just like you do with any board game or any card game. You play it and everyone just kind of has fun. So the other 2 pieces are around injects. When you have 3 failures in a row, you get an inject card. So if your rolls just aren't working out for you, you get an inject card. An inject card could be good, could be bad. Don't know, right? So the inject card is new information, just like in an event. Maybe something happens that you didn't know about, and now you do. Maybe it would have changed what you did before. Who knows? It's just new information or a change, right? And then if you do not find all 4 cards by the end of the 10th time we try some procedures and whatnot, well, you're done. So that's it. That's the overview. For those who haven't played before, or anyone, questions from the audience, from the players. When will we be able to order the newest expansion pack in the UK? Christopher, great question. I'm going to have to field that over to Jason when he gets on there. So we'll have to find out. I don't know what the status on that is. But any questions about gameplay? Everyone good? I see stares of just rigid confidence from my players, from my defenders.
I'm so bad with in taking instructions before I play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just gotta roll with it. It's just chaos in general.
Yeah.
Just go.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, then that's what we'll do. So for those who are watching online, you can go to Black Hills Infosec and search for the visual guide there, and you can kind of look at the rules along with us. But we're going to jump over to the game, and we're just going to get into it. The game we're playing, China does not include OT today. So OT, the operational technologies, the ICS expansion deck. We'll be playing with just the core deck. Great question, though. All right. So let's do have those. That's perfect. All right. Let me get a yeah. Are we ready? We ready? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get excited.
Yeah.
All right.
Reaching doors that are in the back. Anyway. Okay. So we've got our 4 cards, right? We've got to discover these. And in this scenario, your organization has a security and information and event management SIEM log analysis. This is something you know how to do really well. Get into the logs, dig around. You're also really good at network threat hunting using Zeke or Rita analysis. Fantastic. User entity behavior analytics, UEBA. What are these users doing, and are they logging in concurrently across a bunch of different areas that they shouldn't be? More specifically at the same time. And then firewall log review, reviewing the actual firewall rules and seeing, hey, looking at these logs, is someone hitting things that they shouldn't? Stuff like that. These 4 procedures, you get a +3 modifier for every roll that you do. You get a +3 modifier. Other procedures you can still use, but you do not get that additional modifier. So if you find that, hey, you're just not hitting on these, maybe you want to try some of these, but you got to roll that additional, not additional, but you have to make up for that getting an 11 or higher. So that's the game. And if we're ready to play, I'll give you the scenario.
Let's do it.
Go.
Rock on.
Ready.
All right, there we go. That's the enthusiasm.
Charge!
Yes. Right. Leroy Jenkins. Okay, so here's your scenario. You are on call and you receive a pager duty notification. Bum, bum, bum. And you get a call from your network operations center. And the network operations center says, hey, I'm noticing some strange logins inside of our VDIs. I've never seen them before. They seem to be provisioned properly, though I've never seen them. They're operating at strange times too. Like these VDIs aren't generally online at this time, and we're not sure what's going on. But there's a lot of communication and a lot of chatter coming from these, and we think there might be something, nefarious, malicious, etc. going on. What should we do? So you've received this pager duty call. You've talked to the NOC. What's your first step?
Say we do a little network hunting with Rita analysis.
Network hunting with Rita analysis. Do
Yeah.
you want to go in and start looking at the logs, listening in, seeing if there's anybody potentially malicious on the network?
If those if the VDIs are creating some strange network traffic, like they're saying, we should be able to rule out if it's malicious or not malicious pretty easily, right? And then relate the traffic to see if it's common or not. But that would be my first take. I don't know what everyone else thinks.
All right. Well, so we've got one vote for Zeke and Rita analysis. Any other ideas?
I'm torn between either the firewall log or Zeke and Rita.
Okay. Well, what are your thoughts? Let's talk through it.
Well, okay, we've got a problem in terms of new users being created.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems like something that Zeke and Rita would show up probably better than a firewall log. But how are those users being accessed?
I think UABA, right, would also be pretty good for this. Understanding what users are creating and the activity of users logging in and out with those type of permissions would also be a great idea for that. They said, because in the scenario, right, it said that users are being created and that there's strange network traffic coming from the VDI infrastructure, correct?
Well, they said that specifically it looks like the users were created correctly, but they didn't say that they were created as part of a process. Let's put it that way.
Okay. So hopefully UEBA would catch that, right, and see the anomalous activity of a user being created or a user logging in maybe out of time or from a different location.
Right.
So that's definitely a point. I'm down for either network or that. What do you guys think?
All right.
I think our engine captain is very generous in the 10 procedures. I don't think you can really go too wrong.
Yeah.
Here, as far as the starting point.
Okay. So I'm sorry. Which card was it? It was a little muffled on my side. What card did you like, Sky?
Oh, I didn't say. I said all of the pinned procedures are excellent choices.
Oh yeah.
As far as a starting point for this, so we got very generous gods here with the. with the
Emmanuel in the chat. Zeke.
Yeah, most companies would probably kill to have good procedures of SIM, threat hunting, and firewall and UEBA. Most times people are just like, well, we have the SIM. We think it's ingesting everything. We hope.
What's the source IP? Show me all the logs.
Yeah, This is a really good point you make, that a lot of companies, if they had all of this, would be feeling really good about about their procedures and whatnot. But we do need an answer. So which one are we going to try first? Does anyone have strong opinions?
We'll go UEBA.
Oh,
Zeke, you want to go Zeke? Oh, okay. No, okay. We're going Zeke. I believe in
Well,
Zeke.
no,
I know
wait.
the metagame.
Wade, you made a good case for UEBA, though. I mean, I'm willing to change over to UEBA.
Oh,
I think UBA is a great choice as well.
You made a good case.
I like that. And that's what happens when you're like at the incident response table. You go, well, what about this? What about this? Oh, you know what? Now that you say it that way, maybe we should go that route. Maybe we should do that because that'll preserve more evidence or give us a wider view. So, so Wade, I think you need to roll because you're the one that sold everyone. And since
okay.
yeah, so for those, go ahead.
Do you have a dice or do I have a dice, or is it on screen?
Roll. So I was actually going to pull that out. If you have a dice, if you want to roll it, that's fine. But for those who might be at home or doing this virtually, you can do roll d20 on Google. And I'm just typing kind of the whole thing out so that well, if I could learn to type. So roll d20. You can go on just Google to put in Google, and that really threw it off because if you do just roll d20, you get this wonderful dice roller, and you can use this anywhere. You can also actually add a modifier to it if we were using a procedure that was there. So you can say, hey, add +3 to whatever I roll. So it's really great for this in the d20 and using this online and with other people. So if you haven't used that before, those at home and here, please do. Wade, feel free to use whatever you'd like, though, and we'll try and determine if you're social engineering us.
I don't want to stand up, so I'm just going to use the roll d20. I actually didn't know this existed. All right, here I go. I crit failed. I got a 1.
Oh no!
No. No. Okay.
Technically, it's a 4 because it's a procedure, but
gotcha. Okay.
Ouch.
So yeah, you got a 4, and we were rolling against UEBA. Okay. So you go in, you start looking at your logs, and I think what I need to do here, we're gonna try something here. I wish I could just increment this forward because we're using the other dice, but I'm gonna say roll dice. Okay. Well, that's fine. It still says strike, so good. Okay. So the UEBA, you go through, you pull the logs on there, and nothing is looking strange, right? All the accounts seem to have the right privileges. They're logging in at different times than other accounts usually do, and and didn't know it. Well, anyway. Wow, man, Monopixel's just throwing you right under the bus.
I know. I'll remember that for next time.
Yeah, remember that. Yeah, exactly. Like from
he's not wrong.
The gallery, Monopixel just came in. He's like, "Boo this man! Boo!" No. So UBA, you went in, you looked around in the logs, and yeah, you see some strangeness, but nothing that stands out. Yeah, the hours are a little bit off. Those VMs generally aren't online at this time, but nothing's a smoking gun. It's just, it's the same kind of strangeness that the help desk reported, or the knock reported.
All right. All right, somebody else needs to roll because I have to throw away my computer now since I rolled a 1.
You can always ask questions too at any given time to say, hey. So keep in mind now, though, our UEBA is now on a 3-turn cooldown, so you can't use that again. And hey, we've got spammers in the channel. Yay! Hey guys, what is new AI dating disrupts? Oh, fantastic! And now, is that dating AI or is that
AI dates you? They must be Russian.
Okay.
Technology improvement.
UEBA didn't show us anything. Who's got ideas? And not Wade because he can't roll.
Zeke.
Zeke or Sim. Way to go.
Yeah,
Bronwyn, you roll. I gotta throw away this computer after this stream.
Well, before you do, why Zeke? Why are you feeling Zeke?
Well, okay. Zeke is going to be pulling in a lot of different activities. It's going to help. I mean, what is the whole purpose of Zeke? It's to identify anomalies. So hopefully Zeke will give us a broader baseline, and with Zeke and Rita, we'll be able to figure out what the heck is going on here.
Okay. All right. You gonna roll?
All right. One polyhedra. 17.
Woo!
So Zeke worked.
That's a 20 plus 3.
Nice.
All right, hold on. Wonderful. So you actually did discover something. Nice job. So we're going to go through and I'm going to do the dice roll here just so we get the counter. And look at that. It's actually playing out right. Not the same numbers, but it's actually playing out right. So you discovered the C2 and exfil. HTTPS as exfil. So by using Rita and your Rita analysis, what you discovered is, whoa, wait a minute. No, we definitely do have something going on here. Data is leaving in a way that it absolutely shouldn't. And the weirdness that we're seeing, or that the UEBA was potentially even trying to tell us, was, hey, data doesn't leave here like this in this type of drove from this VDI. This is not normal. You've to quote from hackers and Ben and Mr. Gillette, I think we've got a hacker.
Oh no, we've got hackers.
So excellent. So 1 down, 3 to go. Excellent job, Bronwyn.
Yay! Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So boop, 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 boop. So we are going to move our Zeke over there. It's generally house rules. How do you want to play? Do you want to play that if you're successful, you don't need to do a cooldown? I'll give you the option. Or successful, or no matter what, you have to do a cooldown. You tell me.
I like hard mode. Cooldowns all the way.
Cooldowns is what I'm used to.
Cooldowns all the way. Okay, very good. So we'll put our 2 there. That's one that, and for those listening at home, just like you develop your own kind of family rules around how we play Monopoly and whatnot so that the siblings don't cry or kill each other, you can do the same thing here, and you can tailor it to your organization. The game is meant to be extensible and flexible. Build it so that it serves you and your org as you're learning. Hazel has strong opinions on that. Yes. Very good. Okay, so we are now moving into turn 3. This will be our we're moving into turn 3. We have discovered HTTPS as exfil. Excellent. But we have 3 more areas to discover. You still have firewall log review available to you. You have security and event management log analysis in your your procedures. You get +3, and you have all the other procedures you can use without a +3. So now you know it's HTTPS exfil. What do you look at next?
I think you go sim.
Yeah, I do sim.
I mean,
who is that? James or Wade?
James.
Who said that? James. Hey, Jim. Okay.
Yeah.
So James, why are you thinking sim?
Well, so from a game standpoint, the threat hunting and the firewall log review are fairly similar. You're going to see the same kind of type of traffic, just maybe more summary or whatever. But since we still have a lot of the incident that we don't understand, the sim should give us some other key points, because obviously now if you looking at this real life, all right, you drop the IP you found that's a threat, you drop that into the sim and then see what else is talking to that, or you look at other things that happened around yes, monopixel and min-maxing the game.
Right.
Or you just you start looking at start trying to find boom, when things started to happen. So.
Okay. No, it's great. It's great. And part of the reason that we do this as well, and I know a lot of the players here know this, but if you're listening at home, you say, well, what's the thought process? Well, let's talk about it. So I think that's great. What does the rest of the team think?
I like sim analysis.
Yeah.
I could also see endpoint analysis would be my other one, but the sim gives us that +3, so we're more likely not to lose. But my other one would be endpoint analysis if anybody really wants to get down on it to try to find that initial compromise but a lot of that log data is also going to be in SIM. So it should even out, and SIM gives us the +3. So
Okay.
I was right there with you in the same thought process. I want to cast a slightly wider net if I don't have established scope. I'm like, I know something bad has happened at this point, but we don't know exactly what. We still are missing 3 steps. So casting a wider net to try and find as much as we can is probably the next best step, as long as the fates are kind to us.
And you want to lead with the stuff that your team's good at. So in this case, those established ones are the big pieces. Maybe after a little bit, you're like, okay, we haven't found anything else useful. Does anyone know how to use sysinternals? Okay, great. Go use sysinternals, or go do this, and dump some memory, please. Oh, the bots are back! Yay!
I love that. Yeah. Okay, no, this is all really good stuff. So, Serena, you agree?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Yes. Total consensus. Excellent. All right.
I'm still getting my bearings with the game. So
Okay. That's cool. Listen, that's why we're all here, is to learn. So, James, I think you brought it up, so I think you're rolling.
All right.
You crit fail, you got to throw away your computer.
All right.
Yeah. If I rage log out, it's because I 14.
14. We're playing Sim.
Nice. Well done.
So actually 17 because of the +3. So
AC was 10, so you're clear. The goblin takes the arrow in the eye.
All right.
Now it's getting super nerdy.
Very successful. Yeah. Oh, actually, before we go on there, yeah, DDoS. Where dost thou get that shirt? And that's a great time to plug. Hey, the Spearfish General Store has its summer collection, so please go check it out. Money goes to a good cause. I think it's going to the Rural Tech Fund. So if you like the shirt that James is wearing, the Malware finds a way. You can find it there at the BHIS General Store. So go ahead, and the link is in the chat. Now back to what people are here for. So Sim, yeah, great. You rolled it. You got in. You were like a shark with the Splunk commands. You're all over it. And hey, Bobby.
Oh, I can't afford Splunk.
Yeah. But hey, no, I don't care. They're on lunch. Did you get the all the VDIs? Did you get those into? What do you mean? What do you mean licensing? We don't have the what? I don't care about the bandwidth. I want about the logs.
Oh, we're over our data limit.
The VDIs.
Vendor.
Yeah, it turns out we went back to Splunk and said, hey, we need to add these 15,000 VDIs. And they just put out their hand and said, please keep putting money here until it's heavy enough. And so we didn't. So yeah, the VDI logs didn't make it into Splunk. So although you were successful, you did everything right. You didn't find anything.
Frosted grape.
Where?
Endpoint analysis. Come on. Well, we need to. So what are we missing here? We're missing the initial compromise, right? And the pivot. So what technique do you guys think is the best to find the initial compromise? It's not going to be. It may be firewall logs. It may be. We could use that, right? For the initial, if they compromised or possibly brute forced, right? I think firewalls cover that.
yeah.
Or we could cast the wide net and go endpoint.
Well, are we going to do endpoint analysis or endpoint protection analysis? Because we have 2 different endpoints available.
We also have memory analysis as well, since the VDI is live. That's just time to go and grab information from memory before stuff gets shut down, unless the NOC already panicked and turned things off.
Yeah, just nuke the. I forget who was in the chat earlier on said the same thing. Nuke the VDI. Go to lunch. And the forensics team is like,
Please don't. Please don't. Isolation is your friend.
all right. So yeah, the endpoint security protection analysis and then endpoint analysis. 2 different cards. One gives you more, and I believe I always get the 2 confused. And even as the incident captain, it's easy to do. Endpoint security protection analysis is looking at the tools on the system that protect it. So AV, all the logs that come off of it. Whereas with endpoint analysis, you're actually going through and digging. You're getting into the box and actually looking at the entire box. So,
Event viewer.
what's that?
I said event viewer time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
Just
this is why
oh,
central
that's
logging is great, guys.
exclamation point. Okay, that's bad.
Please,
Okay.
no.
All right. So, what are we gonna go with?
Crickets.
I'd go with endpoint analysis or firewall log review. I'd say flip a coin. And
I think you should shoot. Oh, go ahead. We have someone else.
Firewall log review would probably get us the initial compromise.
All right, it's all you, Serena.
The
You
network
roll.
engineer has entered the chat.
Yep, finally.
Oh no. That's a lot of pressure now. All right. So I roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I have I have 3 dice on my screen. I don't
You only get the one.
I don't know how that happened. Wait. Can someone roll for me?
Someone roll for you. Well, okay.
No, it
well,
has to
Okay,
be-
I got it. Okay. Ready? Roll. It was a 6.
No!
Oh
you know what?
Was that the scream?
Wilhelm scream.
The Wilhelm scream. Oh, you got
Yes.
the Wilhelm scream in there?
Yes.
All right. Oh, look, and that time it popped up the actual right number because we're rolling here. You can use this play at backdoorsandbreaches.com. Anybody can use this. You can go to this and actually use this to play the game, and it has a dice roller built in. But for this audience, we're using the other dice rollers as well. So a couple things have happened here now. So one, in downside news here. You didn't get an inject because you successfully rolled for security, the security information event management system. So your failure count is still only 1, but now your firewall, which one was the first one to come through? So your
UEBA should
user
be,
EBA, there we go. So your firewall log review is now at a 3. Your Zeke was before that, so that's a 2.
move them both over to the left.
Which
2
one?
two should be on Sem. 1 should be on Zeke.
One should be on Zeke.
There you go.
Yeah, and then
I don't
UEBA
generally
is back
play
up.
with this version, so forgive me. It's more of an in-person thing. So thank you.
No worries.
That being said, so you've got these other items here that are now back and available to you. User behavior analytics is back and available to you. You're on turn 6. We've discovered HTTPS as exfil. We're not doing real great with our rolls, but that's okay. Sky, I want to hear what you have to say. What do you think we should do next?
By my count, we're on turn 5, but I might have missed something.
Are we on turn 5? Okay, I'll do one. Does everyone agree with that? Because I've been trying to use this over here to track. Did we miss it?
Yeah, because we've only used our procedure cards, right?
So we're on turn 5.
We're on turn 5. Yeah.
Okay, very good. I must not have clicked one. Very good. See,
And that's why it's really important to take
you got
notes.
to call out the incident captain too, because they don't know what they're doing.
Very, very important.
Just
to
like
take
a
notes,
typical
but,
D&D game.
It is. That's right. Now,
Read the rule book.
Look, it says this, and then they just flip the table and go, "Well, it's my campaign, so what are you gonna do?"
Exactly. You're gone.
Now you're all dead.
Now you're all dead. Now
Roll
the
for perception.
dragon of obliteration is here. All right, so back to Sky though. Sky, what do you think we should do next?
endpoint analysis. So we have identified a VDI that is doing exfil. I want to see how they got to that VDI and what connected to it, and all the information I can possibly glean from that particular endpoint.
Wonderful. Yeah. So endpoint analysis here. We're going to go in and try and figure out what is going on with that. I think you should roll. Have you rolled yet? I think you should roll.
She's got
And now
big
we're
one.
Let's see.
Wow,
Ooh.
that's
You
awesome.
came ready,
this is
and it's
fun.
weighted to always land on a 20.
I have no idea how this will end up, so we will
All right.
see.
Let's see.
I actually have to roll it on the ground. 1 sec.
RIP to your table.
That's your roll, so you know it rolled. You
Bad
got
day. It's a 9.
9. Oh, so close.
The Wilhelm scream kills me, man.
There goes the Wilhelm scream again.
Does it always go like this?
No.
Yes. It depends on the luck of the people involved.
Sometimes we do good.
Terrible luck
Honestly,
with that.
I would have argued that when Serena rolled for firewall logs, she probably should have got a positive since she is a network engineer. You know, but
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The network engineers entered
we
the
should have
chat,
argued
like,
that earlier.
They
I
can't
saw-
save us. They can. All right. So, moving on here, we'll move our roll forward. We got 4 turns remaining. You've got user
Any
behavior
cards?
analytics, firewall log. Go ahead.
All right, team. We've been rolling low. I think we got to go back to either UEBA or firewall logs, but I'm leaning towards UEBA instead of going anywhere else just to get that plus so we don't fail. But I don't want to roll. I think Bronwyn should have to roll because she's the only one.
She's got the best luck so far.
Yeah.
I agree on the UBA. I think that's the way to go if we know that there's accounts being created and using these VDIs.
Okay. So we're going to go with user behavior analytics. We're going to take a look at that, looking for multiple concurrent logins, behaviors. Who's doing naughty stuff? Who's going to roll?
Well, they seem to think I should roll, so I'll roll again.
Your team has chosen you as tribute.
You got the BIHS dice. It's lucky.
Here we go. 14!
Excellent.
So, we will move this over. Let me do these real quick before I forget. That comes back. Wonderful. Excellent. So 14, we rolled against, what was it? UEBA? Awesome. So, turns out last time you went into EBA, you were searching around and no, wait a minute, there is more information here. And you're starting to see that, yeah, you start to see the references to the HTTPS as exfil. You see that that doesn't happen. You also start to see things like these were locally provisioned credentials. They're not domain credentials that would generally be there, but it doesn't actually end up revealing anything for you. So it told you a little more, and now you know that your UEBA is working, but it didn't actually tell you anything.
Boo, tomato, tomato, tomato.
Boo, boo this incident master. He is not Jason, and we do not like him anymore.
So
We're down to where are we? 4 remaining turns. Where do we go?
I think we need to go endpoint security protection just to get that broad view. I mean, you know, we should see broad things in SIM, but obviously we didn't put the right things in the VDI or put the right logs into the SIM.
I agree.
Just unmodified, and I'll roll it. So
Oh,
everyone,
it's on it.
All right.
Wait,
whatever. I got a cup of the strong stuff. Let's do it.
Oh, I guess we are at the end of the breach. So
it's chocolate milk. So.
Oh, sure.
That's what we're calling it.
Yeah. And a 19.
19.
Yes.
Wow.
And what
Way
we rolled
to
against
go,
Sonny was,
James.
I'll see you guys at the craps tables at Deadwood.
yeah, you go. All right. It was endpoint protection analysis.
Yes.
Excellent. So that was a very good choice because you revealed your persistence card, and that persistence card was DLL attacks. So great. So now you've gone in, and now you know that there's HTTPS as exfil, and there also seems to be some additional files in there that are providing a web shell that are actually what's allowing those folks to manage and control their command and control systems. It's allowing for the HTTPS exfil. So they've got DLL hijack in there that's injecting a web shell, or not injecting, but running a web shell. And that's how they are maintaining persistence, is keeping that web shell going. So great job. That is absolutely a fantastic roll there. So we've got 2 now. We still need pivot and escalate, an initial compromise, and I think we've got 3 turns left, correct? Yes, because we would have been at 5.
All right, I say we have Serena look at the firewall logs again, but this time better.
But this time more better.
Yeah.
What is it? I know.
Keep your glasses on when you do it.
Okay. You can do that. Do I roll again?
The logs are fuzzy.
right.
Yes, you would roll again, and I'm trying to remember which order this goes.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember these. I'm not used to these bits. I'm used to turning the cards to say, okay, 1, 2, 3, and then done. So anyway, that's okay. I'll learn. All right, Wade, are you rolling? Is that what I heard?
I volunteered Serena since she gets like plus. I'm just the dude who reads. Oh, I guess I do read logs, but she's the network person, right? I'm not. She I believe in her.
Okay. All right, I'll roll.
Firewall log.
It's a
not again!
What'd you get? What'd you get?
No! Sorry.
What'd you get? What was it?
It was a 6.
A 6. Okay. Oh man, with the 3, that brings you up to 9. You were still short. So
Did you not get an extra +3 for being a network engineer?
+1?
Well, to be fair, a brilliant network engineer could not get around the fact that the firewall logs had been reset recently, and so they logged in and said, "There's really nothing here for me to look at." Historically, I'm starting to see some stuff coming in here, and as soon as we get some more net flows, and as soon as we get some more hits against the actual firewall rules, I can go through and do more with that. But unfortunately, that is where we're at. You do get, it looks like you'll get your firewall review will go here. This comes down here, and this comes up here. So you do get your endpoint analysis back if you wanted that, but you did use endpoint security protection analysis. And we have 2 remaining turns. So we gotta kill it here. It is crunch time. Fancy Bear is out there getting their tuxedo on.
I'd like to.
Anything that has been able to tell us about how they pivoted. Maybe we should go after some server analysis here.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say that, or I was gonna phone a friend and use my consulting card.
Consultant card. We didn't even talk about consultant cards. I was trying to keep it just the core deck, but if we go that route, we can.
All right, Noah, what should we do? Oh,
you're gonna call Bo?
Bo Bullock, I choose you.
I don't have Bo's card in front of me. Which and
slap it down like a spades card.
So what does Bo's card have on it?
So Bo's card says the incident master must reveal all the initial compromise cards.
That was
if we were to
So let's play this. So the and I'm trying to remember with the consultant cards we would use a turn, as I remember. So but that's fine.
There's a procedure for it.
Yeah, it's like a procedure. So we didn't cover consultants in there. So one of the cool additions that's happened in Backdoors and Breaches is consultant cards. These are the friends that you can call, the people that are professionals in the industry that have special, a very particular set of skills, and they might be able to help you. And in this case, if you have a Bo Bullock consultant card, the initial compromise card gets revealed. So we're going to reveal that for you, and it is exploitable external service. So you had something on the edge of the internet there, on the edge of your networks, and it was letting the attackers in. Notice that firewall log review was one of the things that would have found it. Serena.
So close.
I blame the vendor.
I feel like a bad network engineer now, and I didn't even go through any law.
You should never feel like that. You're a wonderful network engineer. It was definitely, absolutely the professional services that came and configured those firewalls, and you came in after the fact and was like, "What is this nonsense? I don't even know what's happening." So
Why are the logs routing to null? That's weird.
why is this null? Oh well, the null had a lot of space. I could just keep throwing stuff at it and it just accepted it. Anyway,
So all we need is the pivot. Yeah,
yes, you have to
pivot and escalate.
If I'm doing my math correctly, which I'm sure I'm not, you should have 2 turns left, and you would have, through the cooldown period, your UEBA came back. Your firewall review will get the 2, right? UEBA came back. This gets the 1. This gets the 2, and then 3 was, which one did we use? What did we use? I completely forgot.
We use a consultant card.
Consultant card, yes. I don't really have anywhere to move this, so okay.
Noah recommended deception, but from my prior knowledge of pivot and escalate, there's no deceptions that detect pivot and escalate in metagaming this a little too much. In real life, there is. In real life,
I don't know if it's in the expansion or not.
I'm still up for server analysis.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So server analysis. Server analysis, the ability to baseline a system and verify it. So a lot like your endpoint analysis, but looking at server operating systems and seeing if there's anything going on there. So, okay. Server analysis. I think the voice I heard strongest on server analysis was Serena. Am I correct?
No,
Not Serena.
Don't
Sorry,
make
it
me
was
roll
Sky.
again.
It was Sky.
Yep.
All right. So, Sky, do you want to roll with your
Oh,
giant?
no, I would actually not recommend server analysis.
Oh,
I too do not want server analysis.
I would go Semlog, UEBA, or even the recommendation of the
deception.
cyber deception. In terms of if we're talking metagaming, that's the path that I would go.
So we have
Preferably
successful UEBA and Semlog roles already. So that means are we playing? Okay, this is where I'm have to medic. Are we playing where if we would have got 1 right, it would have gotten 2, or it would only gotten 1?
I will tell you that the rules that I'm playing by is if there are multiple cards where the procedure that you used was successful, you only get 1 reveal.
Okay. Ooh. All right.
So for those in the audience who are wondering why that question was asked, you might have a security control that would discover 3 of them. And in the real world, maybe you find all 3 of those with the 1 security control. But in the gameplay, the incident captain, myself, would look at the cards. And if there were multiple cards that successful roll would reveal, I would choose 1 of them. So this simulates the real world where you might go through once, comb through things, find something that really sticks out like a sore thumb, but then later go back with a finer tooth comb and say, oh wait, no, there's something else here. Let's go continue looking. So
prior notes, when we ran Semlog analysis, we didn't get anything right, and we got it right. So we know it's not Semlog analysis.
Correct. That is correct based on my notes as well. I will say this is that if these are local accounts that are being created, that does eliminate a good amount of the pivot and escalate cards. So we know how they're creating persistence and how they can get from point A to point B. So if we're thinking they use an exploitable, if I can use words, exploitable external service, and then end up with HTTPS as exfil, we know they're creating local user accounts, then thinking through what are the methods that an attacker would use to pivot and escalate from point A to point B. That's a question. That's not just a statement.
I was about to say you were really leading up there. I thought you were going to suggest something at the end of it.
No, I'm looking through and trying to figure it out myself. This is one of those things where if you're not looking directly,
I'm a think out loud person too. I like your style.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. No, it's
absolutely.
good. It's good.
What about? I know it's not a card here, but it exists. What about applying internal segmentation? That would almost kind of be similar to isolation, but internal segmentation could possibly work. Also, did we have any success with endpoint analysis, actually? I thought our roll didn't go right, did it?
Correct. I believe that is accurate.
Yeah. All right. I say
And that would reveal quite a few.
That gave you the DLL attacks.
Oh, it did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
Well, yeah, endpoint protection did. Yep.
Oh, fair point. Yeah, you could do the other
Yeah.
one.
Endpoint analysis, yeah.
We have
I think
just endpoint analysis, but then we have the endpoint protection, and it was a protection that gave us.
Protection gave
that
it
gave
to
us DLL.
Yeah.
But I think endpoint, I mean, you're going to see the pivot stuff a lot by looking at the endpoints.
I agree.
you. All right.
Where files are created, little tidbits, maybe
Yeah.
some logs. All right.
Artifacts.
Like,
They're called artifacts.
Artifact. Yes, that is correct. No, you're right.
Using
You're
your
absolutely
fancy
right.
terms.
They are evidentiary artifacts. Absolutely. So I hear endpoint analysis. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
I think that's a good option as well.
Who's? You broke up a little bit, Sky. What was that?
Oh, I agree. That is
You
one
agree?
of the ones
All right.
I
Okay,
would
who's
like to
rolling?
run, for sure. Bronwyn?
I'll roll. Bronwyn roll. Bronwyn. Yeah, I go Bronwyn.
I've rolled twice.
And you've been successful both times.
The cyber gods are with you.
If you were a pair of dice, you'd be on the little pedestal. Be like, yes, this is the good dice.
All right, here we go.
All right.
7.
7. Okay.
Close.
So let's go back here. We were using endpoint analysis. That one goes there. Then this one comes. We lose that
log
one.
review.
We could do endpoint analysis again, right?
Well, no, it has a cooldown now. You can do endpoint protection
Oh.
analysis now again.
But they discovered stuff.
And I gotta ask what to do about that procedure card because now I have like a 1 and a 3 instead of a. Anyway, whatever.
Cyber deception.
Can you make
Okay.
cyber deception the card bigger so I could read it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so here's cyber deception. The attackers go after one of your deception technologies. This could be a word web bug, honey account, full honeypot, canary token, what have you. So if they went after it, it might give you additional information around where they're coming from, what they're doing. I don't.
Yeah,
know.
because that one it would be hard for me to see how that would give us information about how they escalated.
So if they say you had a honey admin and they attempted to escalate it to it, you would see the logs and where they started and possibly the attack of them trying to escalate to the honey admin.
Okay.
Yeah. Or if you think of if it was a VDI, just so a Windows VDI box that they get onto, and then they're like, well, there's nothing good here. Where's the servers at? And there just happens to be a server set up as a honeypot, fake domain controller.
Okay, I have a random question.
Yes.
I just noticed we have seam in both the established procedures and in the other procedures. Is that normal?
No, and I'll explain why later.
We have seam in established and also in the
It has
other
nothing to do with the
procedures.
gameplay. By the way,
Okay.
yeah, I'll explain why at the end.
I'm gonna go endpoint
STF
protection.
12.
Endpoint protection. We're gonna go back to endpoint protection analysis.
No, should we?
I still think we should give a chance for server analysis.
All right. You're rolling then.
Okay. Oh,
Go for
gosh.
it. This is our last turn though, right?
This is it.
Oh, wait, I didn't know that.
No, we're
the pressure. Oh, the
Wait.
pressure.
All right. Well, what do we think?
Do it. Do it.
Do it. Just go for it. Leroy Jenkins. You
It's
ain't
9.
chicken.
Did we
9.
never get a successful firewall log review? Because I'm not seeing one in my notes.
No, we didn't. But it's under cooldown.
No.
Oh, it's under cooldown?
Yeah, it's a lot one I can use it. So Serena, did you roll?
Yeah,
What was it?
it was a 9.
And and that's and that was one of the endpoint security Okay.
It was server analysis.
Server analysis. Okay. So yeah, the thing is, you went to check out the servers, but the attack isn't really coming from the hypervisor. So again, we were talking about VDIs, so virtual desktop infrastructure for those watching at home, and they're just virtual desktops. And the hypervisor environment is what actually manages and orchestrates all of those. So in this particular scenario, you went to look at the server environment that was hosting this, and you really didn't find anything. didn't seem like there was any sort of compromise there. So nothing really to do. And unfortunately, that brings us to the end of the game. So you almost got there. I very much appreciate all you playing. Y'all want to know what the pivot and escalate card was?
Yes.
I love that it just defeated. Yes. All right. The pivot and escalate was, and you really should have stayed with Endpoint. So it was local privilege escalation. So that was the kind of the clue and the hint that was being given the whole time, where he kept mentioning local. So it was local privilege escalation. So they were going from an exploitable external service escalating privileges locally, and in this case, it was in the VDIs. They were using DLL attacks to maintain persistence to keep the systems up and running and able to communicate, and then they were exfilling data using HTTPS. Does this sound familiar to anybody?
This is too close to real life, because we went after endpoints multiple times and failed miserably. This is too close to real life.
So not only are you right that it's too close to real life, but when I said during the pre-show, for those who weren't on, that I was going to do things a little bit differently, one of the things that I did, and Bronwyn, to your point about the security and event management, the way this play backdoors and breaches.com is set up is just it pulls random cards. Well, I didn't like that. I wanted to tell a story. So I went in on client side, edited all the files that were there, and I missed that security and event manager was there twice. That's how that happened. But the reason for that, it's funny that you say real life, because one of the things that we're going to be trying to do in a lot of these scenarios is actually tie them back to the real world. So not only are you learning how these things would behave, but they're actually mapping something. So in June, CISA, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure and Security Agency, for those who have not seen this organization, they do a lot of really great stuff in cybersecurity. And one is these Shields Up alerts. And this was our original release date, May, updated in June. But it was for a VMware bug being exploited in the wild, specifically around VMware Workspace ONE access. So VMware Workspace ONE is that orchestration tool that says, oh, I want to deliver a virtual desktop to somebody. And they log in through a externally exploitable service, and they get their VMware desktop. One of the wonderful things that CISA does here, especially if you're trying to run your own games, is they actually break down why they know that this was being exploited in the wild. And it includes what happened at specific victims with specific threat actors. So it gives you some of those TTPs, those tactics, all those pieces that they're using. And so Wade, no, it wouldn't. So I thought, let's go back and look here. Did cyber deception show up? Did it? Is it on the card?
No. It is on the card.
Oh, is it?
But yeah.
I think you're looking at the updated.
I'm trying to think what James, what cyber deception would detect local privilege escalation? The only thing I think is maybe like a canary file with passwords in it, which obviously is pretty easy deception.
This is what I have on my card. Let's see if it.
I mean, you could.
Same here. Those are my two.
So well. you have the older deck of cards.
Yeah, I'm using the original deck. Yeah.
Yeah, that burned me doing this too, because I told somebody, I said memory analysis would absolutely not work, and 100% they pulled it up and memory analysis worked.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as what kind of deception would maybe work, so yeah, token file would definitely be a possibility. I suppose you could have a local account be tied to the SIM to automatically alert. Like if somebody said, okay, I'm in this machine, I'm going to log into that machine or trying to log into an actual honeypot using some sort of local creds.
Okay, that's a good one too.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, I mean, these are likely Windows VDIs, but somebody gets in and then they're like, oh, hey, cool, there's this SSH session. Maybe I can get in with that. Right. And go from there. Yeah, we can blame the old cards. I'm good with that.
Yeah, well, I've got the Windows XP. I've got the Windows XP deck is what I've got. It's still on the
I'm right
board.
there with you.
Still
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's a really great.
As long as it isn't the Windows Vista deck, okay?
right, because then it's vulnerable and doesn't work. Got it.
Yes.
The cards are all scrambled up. They're all just
Right. So to answer that other question real quick too, another take on it for the cyber deception is let's say you knew that the VDIs were being attacked, so you change the profile of the honeypot to look like a VDI, and suddenly the attacker's logging in and creating local accounts and installing this web shell, like in the example from CISA, where the web shell specifically that they're using is, I had it up here a second ago, but they're using a web shell that they're plugging in, and you could see that and say, oh, well, they tried to install this web shell and they tried to use these local accounts using this type of name or this type of structure for the name. So let's go back and look at the other ones. Oh, look, there's something very similar there. So that might work as well. Very good. So yeah, that's the game. That's how it's played. And the if you're interested in learning more about where that scenario came from, please do go check out CISA Alert 8822138B for threat actors using unpatched VMware vulnerabilities for full system control. And you'll see that a lot of the cards that we played out exactly like that. And I do have a couple notes for the players. One, excellent job. I love the discussion. It was great. And Bronwyn, right at the beginning, you were like, hey, you know, these accounts being created, we need to look at this. Like, yeah, that was exactly the direction. And then I also included, you know, I probably should have stayed with Endpoint. And Serena, excellent network engineer, but sometimes those firewall logs just aren't going to give it to you. And what was terrible is firewall logs, at least in my deck, would have given you exploitable external service. You were playing. I mean, you would have been there. But Bo came in, flaming red beard and hot guitar licks, and was able to say, "This is how these folks are getting in." So you got close. You were one shy. How do you feel? Did you learn something? Did you like the game?
It was fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Must do this again.
All right.
Absolutely.
We will be doing this again regularly, and we'll do it regularly. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. Thank you for spending your time. Those at home, at work, especially Brian, get back to work. That being said, you know, thank you for joining us. If you are interested in learning more about Backdoors and Breaches, please go through and reach out to us on our Discord. We have a wonderful BHIS Discord that you can join and chat with all these wonderful folks. You can also go to blackhillsinformationsecurity.com and learn more about how to play Backdoors and Breaches, or just tune into these live streams and check us out and listen to us play through. So for myself, John Strand, Basin down here, Jason, the entire set of defenders, thank you. A little round of applause. Thank you for joining. Very good. We'll see you again on YouTube or wherever you're watching. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.